In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen. Please be seated. One of the things that I've learned is that as we mature and get older, we hopefully become wiser. Hopefully. And one of the things that I've become wiser about is that the simplest answers are usually the most effective to somebody's problem. And a wonderful example of this that I heard was there was a story of somebody who called into technical support because they bought a new computer and it was not working. And so the person is on this phone call with somebody who, the Lord knows where they are in the world. And it says, I've tried everything. You sold me a dud. I want my money back. And so the gentleman on the line says, well, let's kind of talk this through and see if there's maybe something that you might have missed. She says, no. I flipped the switch back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. The thing just will not turn on. It was dead on arrival. The gentleman on the other side of the line said, just a hunch. Did you plug it in? Click, Delta. The simplest answers sometimes are the most effective. Well, today Jesus is being asked a tricky question. And at this point, the Pharisees and those who are against Jesus are getting desperate. And we know that because there are actually two groups that both hate each other that are now teaming up to see if they can trap Jesus in his own words. The first group is the Pharisees. And there's no secret why they hate Jesus. He keeps calling them hypocrites all the time. He keeps pointing out all the ways in which they're trying to live to the letter of the law of God, but not to the Spirit. And so these are the people who really kind of observe everything down to the last letter, but don't show mercy when it matters most. The other group are the Herodians. Now this was the political elite. These were the people of King Herod. And they hated Jesus because there was a fear. What if this guy really was the Messiah? Then that means he would be the king of Israel. Well, we want to be king. So the fact that they team up says a lot. It's kind of like the old saying, the enemy of my enemy is my friend. And so here is the question that they ask. Teacher, is it lawful to pay taxes to Caesar? Now this was a really touchy subject for the Jewish people living in Jerusalem. Because only God was worthy of their worship. Only God was worthy of being known as king. And so to pay taxes to the emperor was really a form of insult to God. So if Jesus says that it's not okay to pay taxes to the emperor, he can be arrested. If he says that it is okay to pay taxes to the emperor, then he can be discredited among the people who will say, well, we thought you were the Messiah. We thought you were the one who would come to be king, not to worship another king. And so Jesus' answer is so simple, it shocks everyone and quiets everyone. He asks them for the coin that's used to pay the tax. Now, back in those days, a king would mint their own currency with their own face on it because they were really humble people. And underneath would be their title. In this case, not just emperor, but that they were divine. Because the emperors of Rome thought they were divine. So when Jesus holds up this coin and he asks, whose image is on it and what is their title? They say, well, obviously, it's Caesar's. He says, well, then that famous saying that we all know, give to the emperor, give to Caesar what is Caesar. But then he adds something. He says, give to God what belongs to God. Now, the usual interpretation of this saying begins and ends with a stewardship sermon. As I was remarking to Father Earl, there's a passage missing in Scripture because it's supposed to say, give to Caesar what is Caesar, give to God what is God, and give a minimum of 10% to the church. It must be lost in a footnote somewhere. But what if Jesus was saying something more? What if Jesus was asking for something a lot more? Give to Caesar that which bears his image. But what about give back to God that which bears God's image? Now we get somewhere. Because in all of creation, only human beings bear the image of God. I mean, in nature we get reflections of God's handiwork. But human beings in all of creation are made in the image of God. Which means when Jesus says those words, he's saying, give that which bears the image of God back to God. Give ourselves, surrender ourselves back to God. Well, how do you do that? Well, the first thing is we have to understand what it means to be made in the image of God. You know, in Genesis, we see that wonderful part of creation when God creates man and woman. And he says, let us make them in our image. So what does the image of God look like in us? Well, God gave us a mind to think. God gave us a heart to feel. And God gave us a soul so that we could have life and share life with God and others. At the beginning of the service, when we read the invitation to blessed be God, Father, Son, and Holy Spirit, right afterwards, we read the great commandment that Jesus offers. Love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your mind, and all your soul. That's straight out of the Old Testament. That is the first commandment. That is how we return ourselves to God. We use the things that God has given us, a mind, a heart, and a soul, to give that image of God right back to Him. But this is easier said than done because God is asking for everything from us. And we're really distracted people. We're busy people. And so it's very hard for us to give all of ourselves to anything. One of the things I remember in seminary was that we had one teacher out of all of the professors who did not allow computers in her class. At all. It was, you had to write in a notebook. And we protested, we said, come on, this is the 21st century. And her response was this: I want your full attention. I don't want half of your attention. I don't want a quarter of your attention. I want your full attention. It's almost like she could see the reflection in my glasses about what I was looking at on the internet. But it was effective. And so God is asking us to do the same thing. If you were to ask somebody, what is the most important thing that a person has, some people would say money. But I think the argument that we can all make here today is that the most important thing we have is time. We only have a limited amount of time every day. We have a limited amount of time every week. We only have a limited amount of time on this earth. So what we do with that time says a lot about what we value. So here's a couple of thoughts. Every day, the average American spends 6 hours watching television. Every week, the average person in our country spends about 10 hours online. I'm not even going to go into how many hours we spend on social media. That's just way out of here. So let's reflect for a moment. How much time does each of us spend in prayer? How do we measure that? Will we measure it in hours or minutes? Do we set aside time in the morning or in the evening? Is it something that's on the front burner or the back? We don't ask these questions to make ourselves feel guilty. We ask these questions to reflect on our life and ask, am I giving myself fully to God? So let's go back and look at those three ways. All our mind. Do we study God's Word? Do we go to a Bible study, or do we go to a class at the church and hymn? Do we study and try to learn more about this God who loves us? What about all our heart? Do we come to worship regularly? Is Sunday truly a holy and set-aside day in our life? Do we try to find those Sabbath moments throughout the week that we engage with prayer alone and in community with other people? And then last but not least, in giving our soul, do we just sometimes take the time to just be with God? We don't need words. We don't even need thoughts. We just take some quiet silence with God. Once again, I'm not saying this to make us feel guilty. I'm asking these questions because all of us, including me, need to think carefully about how we spend our time in our relationship with God. Now, the good news is that when we see ourselves giving more of ourselves to God through our mind and our heart and our soul, we notice some changes, don't we? We notice that our priorities change. The things that we used to spend our time on don't always seem as valuable as they do in the light of prayer time or worship time. Our relationships with our fellow Christians and those in our family as well, they seem to be different too. And most of all, when we finally begin handing over more and more of our life to God, we feel held by God. Think about those moments that we have felt held in the hands of God. Maybe a moment of crisis, of difficulty, or maybe just a moment of love and grace. In those moments when we've handed ourselves over to God, we'll feel held by Him as well. I'd like us all to think about this because in a couple of weeks we're going to be celebrating the Feast of All Saints. And that's kind of a confusing holiday in the church because at one time we're celebrating everybody who's been a saint, those special people, but at the same time the preacher reminds us that we're saints too. And I don't really feel like a saint. No words from there. But on that day, we're going to have a baptism. And in that baptism is going to be a wonderful symbolic moment where somebody is handing their life over fully to God. And we're going to be asked to remember our baptism and that moment for us. And in that moment, we're going to be held by God. Now, every year, around April 15th, millions and millions of dollars are spent in the preparation of taxes. And the reason millions and millions of dollars are spent is because people like me absolutely do not understand how to file taxes, do not understand how to read taxes. I just throw receipts at my accountant and hope for the best. They give me back a number, hopefully I don't know, and we go from there. But if we notice, one of the main reasons we hire accountants is because we want to pay the absolute minimum that we owe. We do not want to give Uncle Sam anything more than we have to. Can we take that attitude, flip it completely, and apply it to God? That instead of giving God the minimum, only a minute here, only a minute there, what if we tried to give God the maximum of our love? The maximum of our mind, our heart,